Happy holidays. It's me and Sam. Which way do I point? Sam here
Hi.
to
I'm right
discuss.
next to you.
Yeah. I'm like, which way do I point? I do the opposite for the. Anyways, um, we're here to discuss A Scottish Christmas, written by Emma Bennet. Hey, Margaret. And I'll just tell you a little bit about the book. Rose was not expecting to be working the festive period in a pop up Christmas shop. She was expecting to be offered a job by a handsome, brooding Scottishman either. Alastair Duncan hates Christmas. His wife left him and his daughter on Christmas Eve. Now, his family, having announced they are coming to stay at his sprawling Scottish estate, he needs help planning the perfect Christmas when he meets Rose looking fed up, selling tinsel and baubles. He offers her the job. To his surprise, she accepts. Rose wastes no time. Christmas tree shopping and party planning before long. The Duncan family estate is a mass of ribbons, presents, and twinkling lights. Even the family goat Houdini gets into the festive spirit. But the more time Rose spends with the Duncan family, especially Alastair's 12-year-old daughter, Isla, the more Alastair sees how perfectly she fits in, and the ice around his heart begins to thaw. This is so cute. Such a sucker.
Absolutely. I know. I know. Absolutely. Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
did I notice the story? The go I put on the Instagram story. No, not yet, but I'll go check it out. You're so funny.
That's hilarious.
Houdini has to get a shout out.
Oh, long live Houdini. That is like my favorite goat ever.
All right, Sam, with that said, could you provide your non spoiler review?
Yes, it's Christmas. It's Christmas in a story. I really did enjoy it. Especially, I mean, Scotland, hello. It's the best. Um, I enjoyed a lot of the relationships and the familial aspect of a lot of the book. Um, and honestly, it did help to put me in the mood for Christmas this year, I have to admit, especially all the trees.
Can never have enough trees.
Oh, no, never. It's impossible.
All right, if you're going to give it a rating, what would it be? Meows
I
only.
will,
The meow scale.
let's see, on the scale of meow to meow, I would give it, I think, a solid 8.5
Solid eight and a
meows.
half.
Yeah.
I think. Let me jump into it. I like this story because you know what? When I read it, I kind of felt like it's more like a family, like it's a romance, but I think like it's more like family, or it's more family oriented. I kind of
Yes.
think almost any age could really read this. Um, the way that Emma Bennett writes, as far as the couple of books I have read, there's not really like steamy scenes, so there's none of that. Which is actually that's fine because sometimes when authors write this really awkward stuff. So I really like that. It
Yeah.
was I didn't really have anything to pick about at it. It's just like a very like a very it's like a cozy read. So I kind of took it that way. So I didn't really have any critiques. There isn't like a lot of like action. Again, I just felt like it was at low stakes Christmas time.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna give it a 10. I couldn't think of anything to really pick at it.
Okay.
Um, so that's about it. But before we continue, would you mind introducing yourself to our audience? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
I skipped
have
that
no
part.
name.
She's my friend,
Hi.
and she appears.
Exactly. I identify and I respond to friend. Hey, you.
It's how I help,
Uh,
like let people know that you're real. Like she's my
yeah.
friend.
I'm not a figment of her imagination. Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha. I met Leslie quite a few years ago, amazingly enough. But yeah, I enjoy reading a lot, which is something that we kind of connected with towards the beginning. And, it's great to have something to escape from a lot of the things that have been going on, especially recently. But yeah, so it's been fun, and I love being able to kind of chat and dissect books. And, thanks to Leslie for doing this and for having me on.
Yeah, no, thank you always for joining me. Uh,
Of course.
Margaret says, I don't know what you're talking about. 2024 has been wonderful.
Oh, of course. No, absolutely. I mean, 2024 has been my favorite year of all time.
It's been a
Yeah.
bit of a lull for me.
Yeah.
Too boring, too boring. Not
Too
tumultuous
boring.
enough.
There's something wrong with you, honey. I love you.
Now with your love of Scotland, how did you feel about like how Scotland was represented in the story?
I actually thought it was pretty close to the actual thing. Um, once you get outside of the main cities, especially Edinburgh, it's very much that way where it's a lot of smaller communities.
Mm-hmm.
And especially having Alistair be a laird and kind of, I thought it was a great representation of how that kind of works
Yeah.
in that system, especially like being there for his tenants and making sure to kind of solve all problems because he very much is a landlord. But it's also a little bit more because it's more of extended families, which is very much how like clans work in Scotland. There's usually there's a main clan, and then a lot of little clans are a part of it and kind of fall underneath it. And they take care of each other, and, they make sure everyone has what they need. And especially if someone's struggling, they're there to, kind of boost them and help them kind of recover in a way. So I really did think it was a great representation of that kind of feel. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's in a way another form of family,
Mm-hmm.
very much. So I really did enjoy that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alistair offers his library as a work base. Why didn't Rose propose to him right then and there?
Yeah. I mean, that's a solid question. That is absolutely a solid question. I mean, if any beast offered Belle the use of the
Exactly.
library,
Yeah,
I mean, I'd be like, okay, I'm sold
yeah,
forever. Just let me know when the wedding date is.
yeah. Genuinely, this definitely felt like Margaret said, "Put a ring on it."
Yeah, 100%, Margaret.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I kind of felt like piggybacking off of that. There were these like subtle nods to Disney because of the beginning when they meet, when she's working at a party supply store. She's
Hmm.
wearing like an Elsa dress, and that there were
Yeah.
kind of like little, but I felt like it was done. It was well done. It wasn't like
Yes.
a complete call out, but it was like something like this that I felt
Yeah.
like I just liked it. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't. It's not like, some books that you read, it like hits you over the head of
Yeah.
like, yes, I'm copying Disney, or I'm a fan of Disney and I'm going to force you to enjoy it. Like,
Yeah.
it was very subtle, which I
Yeah. It's
really
very sweet.
appreciated.
Margaret says definitely outside of copyright infringement. Well done, Emma.
That too.
Oh, I liked it. It was really cute. Um, because we're getting this story from Rose's perspective, there's this moment in there where she's staring because like they're going up the stairs and Alistair is in front of Rose and she's just admiring his perfectly round bottom. And
Yeah.
and I just like that it was like this is like the female gaze, but I feel like it's done right. It's more of like this glance, and then she's like, "Why am I thinking about
Yeah.
what's right in front of me?"
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you always take a second to appreciate the finer things in life. The finer. Yeah.
Richard, don't tell me you don't like a perfectly round bottom. You're
Yeah.
lying.
But yeah, no, I like the realistic aspect of that because 100% like you glance at something and you're just like, oh my God, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Now that's all I'm gonna be thinking about forever. I can
All
never
right.
look the person in the face
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Never. I was about to go somewhere else. Like, no, we're not gonna. Um, controversial topic. I like Ben and Jerry's Chunky Monkey ice cream. What do you have against it? Let's go. Ding ding. Let's have this
I'm
argument.
glad you brought that up because that was on my list. No, banana, banana is not an ice cream flavor.
It's
Ugh.
it's chunks in there. You know what? I'm gonna make it. Let me tell you how delicious it is. I like buying Chunky Monkey ice cream. I will
Mhm.
add more banana to my ice cream, and it's delicious.
I'm really questioning our friendship at this point.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I read your comment. I was like, I'm gonna have to bring this up. This was supposed to
I
be
just
peaceful and
ew.
jolly, but now there's a rift.
The only acceptable form of banana is a banana bread or banana nut muffin. That is the only acceptable form of it.
I will also eat that. I'll meet in the middle and I will eat some banana bread. It'll be delicious, but I will also have my ice cream. That's it.
No, no, no. There's something wrong with you and Rose.
And that's why you're my friend. You overlook all that.
And despite all of that, yes, I am still your friend.
All right. What about let's talk a little bit about that karaoke scene. I should probably explain. Um so Rose is in charge of like two events. One is like actually it turns into several events, but two major events. One is like family event and one is like professional work event. And so they end up having karaoke together and they start singing together don't go breaking my heart, which I thought was so sweet.
Absolutely. No, that was fun. I mean, most people are terrified of karaoke when you
Mhm.
go, but like once you're there and you have liquid courage in whatever, form that may be, it ends up being a lot of fun. And I think that was like well portrayed in the book as well, because it's like, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to do this," but then it was like, okay, no, this is fun. And then once you get going, like you just don't want to stop for sure.
Margaret's like, I am not the one. We love karaoke more than I can say for Richard.
Ooh, is there gonna be a fight?
Karaoke. Margaret sometimes on her channel she'll have like karaoke sessions with other people, which is actually pretty cool. Which is funny. I just realized that as I'm saying that out loud. I'm like, oh yeah. Um, what other moments? Because there's so many moments that stood out to me where I felt like the character of Rose is like pulling Alistair into like socializing or like these really beautiful events. Was there anything else that stuck out to you besides a karaoke moment that you really liked?
Um, One of the other kind of favorite moments, I think, was her planning the party for Isla,
Mhm.
like the bowling, going to the bowling alley and stuff, and then actually seeing her kind of pull Alistair into that
Mhm.
and participating, but then also like helping him understand the boundaries of,
Mhm.
an almost teenager and how that can kind of be hard to navigate. And I kind of love that aspect of it because she was drawing him out, but at the same time also like, don't go too crazy and like get involved because every 12, 13-year-old girl like that, it is that kind of age where you're starting to be like, okay, I love my parents, but I don't want them around all the time. So it was just kind of fun to see that aspect because I know, Alistair didn't have really anyone to kind of work these like years through with,
Mhm.
like for Isla. So I kind of love that aspect, but just Rose being able to kind of draw him out and then actually doing bowling and then dinner as well. And can we talk about Alistair in a mud mask?
Yeah. So cute. And nails, and nails.
And nails, and also the fact that Houdini had his own
Yes, that's exactly what
goat
I'm
pamper.
picturing.
I
Yeah.
love it. I loved it. It was
Yeah, the
so
pamper kit,
good.
right? That he had
Yeah.
his own. Oh my god.
I mean, just the fact that Rose got Alistair to even do a mud mask is absolutely amazing. I love it. And I love that dynamic of Rose and, and especially in interacting with Alistair. Like, I really did enjoy that.
Yeah, I know his character is kind of written, or he says, and I mean, that stops that he's like grumpy. I didn't really find him that grumpy,
No, he
or I
was
don't know if
just
I just took his
extremely
level of
introverted.
grump. Yeah.
No, well, and honestly, I think if you're someone who is introverted and that can come across to a lot of people as being grumpy because it, you're not saying I don't want to do something because you're grumpy. It's just the fact that it's kind of scary sometimes when you're an introvert to put yourself out there and do things. So it's like I actually kind of understand him a little bit more because I very much am that way. Like
Yeah.
I am extremely introverted at times, and it's not that I'm grumpy if I don't want to participate or don't want to do something. It's just because I am not at the point where I can handle that sort of situation. So yeah, I kind of agree. Like I don't think he necessarily was grumpy. I think he was just being his introverted, adorably beastly self.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Margaret says he wasn't grumpy, he was traumatized
Traumatized.
and introverted. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Um, I was gonna say, um, from there are like other moments where they're listening to music, um, and there's an okay. This is a two-parter. Which one would you choose? Tea or mulled wine?
Oh,
You
don't ask me that, bro. Don't ask me that.
only have one,
I can only have one. Are you sure?
and it's only for the holiday, so it's not like forever.
Well, then, if we're speaking strictly holiday season, then mulled wine,
All right, I
and
agree.
then tea for the rest of the year.
I'm gonna be very clear.
See,
um, how much mulled wine must you drink to start tapping to Michael Bublé's song? As
you
roasted.
know, I have not actually studied this. I think this is actually a good scientific study that should be done. Um, I might do that this within the next week or so just to see how long it would take. I mean, for me though, not that much. I tap along and sing to anything, without any form of liquid courage. So
This is true. Margaret said, mold spices on the stove that perfume the house, but I don't have to drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do both for us. um, so there's so many like really, I like the, because I feel like this is more family oriented. I like that everyone was a part of the, when I say everyone, the family,
Yeah.
including Mrs. Reed. I just love it. Again,
I love
Houdini,
her.
Mrs. Reed, Grandma, everyone. I loved everyone. Um, my heart sank after all this beautiful elation and holiday cheer and bonding when Rose steps into, oh, you know what? Hold on. This whole time, I forgot to put the spoiler banner. Here we go.
Actually, I'll take this time to light my Yule log. Speaking of,
Yeah.
see,
Um, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so after all that, like, happy cheer and everything, and there's this bonding going on between Alistair and Rose. Rose walks into I think the kitchen, and Mrs. Reed is not looking at her, and she's basically like warning her, like, watch it. Like, don't go breaking his heart.
yeah.
Put a song in the background again.
Full circle. Full circle.
How did you feel about that scene?
Um, I can understand where Mrs. Reed is coming from, and especially after knowing how long she has been around. I mean, since the beginning of his life at this point. And especially after, in the end, learning about what happened to Isla's mom and that
Yeah.
whole situation. So I can actually appreciate how Mrs. Reed, or not how, I don't want to say how, because I don't appreciate how she did it,
Yeah.
but I can appreciate why she would feel the need to kind of warn Rose that way. Um, I mean, I guess you always have to have someone to be that in any kind of story.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that for sure, but I don't know. I felt like it could have, it would have been better if she had not kind of warned her, where, like, yeah, in the kitchen, like, not really paying attention, be like, watch yourself type of thing. I think it could have
Or checking the
definitely
food with a
been,
knife in one hand and
yeah,
clamps in the
exactly.
other.
I'm not warning you or threatening you, but I kind of am. But no, I think that it could have been more of like a conversation of like, he's been kind of burned in the past, and
Yeah.
I just don't want to see him hurt, which she did kind of at the end of it. She did bring that around, just being like, I don't want to see him hurt again, type of thing. But like the start of the conversation, I felt could have been a little more like softer
Yeah. Yeah.
in a way.
Oh, Margaret. Margaret, we listen and we don't
Don't
judge.
judge.
The knife emojis. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Um, and just like to expand on that, because there is a point where Rose does find out the truth about what happened between the mother figure. There's a couple of things that I like.
Yeah.
One is that the mom was not dead. So I did like that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I kind of, that happens, but in stories and romances, that kind of that happens quite a bit. So I like this one.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
even though,
and the fact that she was not a problem.
yeah,
Like
yes, thank you.
that. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No,
Didn't mean to
I'm
interrupt.
glad you did it. Don't apologize. I like that. I was worried at some point that character was gonna pop up,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and she did it, and I was like, "Good, be gone." And plot twist: the villain was American. Damn it! Damn
Clearly
Americans!
yeah, I know, right? Well, and clearly the mother did not understand Like, why would you do that? That's my question. Clearly, she was insane because why would you leave Scotland to go back to America?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't.
You know what? You convinced me. 4 to 5 stars. Just for
You,
that alone.
Isla's mother gets 4 to 5 stars.
She gets 0.1 star. Okay.
She gets 1 star. I think that's generous. Maybe 0.25 or not 25, 0.025 of a star.
Yeah. I just read that and I was like, oh, I was like, left her American. A double whammy. Fly. Oh. Oh my god, so funny.
Absolutely.
um. Oh yeah, we already talked. I wrote this down, but we already talked about the pamper kit. That was so funny.
Oh yeah.
Um. Fun
Poor
fact: this
Jamie.
is this is the second book. Margaret, hold on before I continue. She must be a C. Oh, Margaret, you're so naughty.
You know those
Oh,
female CEOs, they're the worst. Just kidding, I work for a female CEO.
they're all lovely. They're all lovely. Fun fact: this is the second book that I've read by Emma Bennet that has made me cry. First was A Christmas Truce, and that
Mhm.
was actually yeah, it was two. That's kind of I just realized it was both the male characters. When I read A Christmas Truce, once we kind of get more of a reveal from the male character about like his past and his upbringing,
Mhm.
that totally made me cry. And in this book, it was when Alistair does the same thing that Mrs. Reed does, which is like warn Rose, like basically to like back off.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Like
yeah,
once he sees Isla, he may be falling in love with her, but not really wanting to address that
yeah,
consciously or to anyone. But
yeah.
once he sees that his daughter feels the same way,
Mhm.
he's like, remember, you're just here to work.
Yeah. You're an employee.
I was so hurt. I was legit crying. I was like ugly crying
Yeah.
for them, and then like for a while, I was like, oh my god.
No, absolutely. Well, and I mean, you can speak to it more being a parent than I can.
Mm.
Um, but just the fact that the child is kind of more, you put a child in front of you, or you, that's not what I'm trying to say. Like as a parent, the child goes first. Like you would rather protect, you would give your life for your child. And I kind of love that aspect of Alistair. It's just because of the fact that he is super protective of Isla. And, you know, it's one thing for him to become attached to Rose, but the second he saw Isla start to become attached, I think that, you know, he he wanted to protect her and kind of be overprotective in a way. But I did kind of appreciate that. And yeah, it choked me up a little bit because it's like this man loves his daughter like to the ends of the earth and wanted to protect her. And, you know, instead of putting his fear of becoming attached to Rose in front of anything else, he's like, I can deal with myself, but if it's my daughter, no way.
Yeah, yeah. It was just hard, which is it's completely true, but it's just I felt like it was like a double whammy because she's already Mrs. Reed and Alistair are doing the exact same thing where it's like they're just fearful and also wanting to
Yeah.
protect, and
Yeah.
they're both kind of like making her back up, and it's just like it's well meaning, and but it's just I just felt bad I felt bad for Rose because it's like, okay, I come,
Yeah.
I do a great job. The job is in your home, so it's just like,
I'm living here.
all right, get along
Well,
with your family.
yeah, and it just kind of dawned on me the fact that, Mrs. Reed did the same thing that Alistair did for Isla, and Mrs.
Yeah,
Reed did it for Alistair. And so it's like she was a mother figure to him,
yeah,
and kind of thinks of him as her child. So I didn't really put that in, kind of, put two to two together. So I kind of like that. I
yeah.
It makes
I mean, it doesn't
sense.
make it right. It's just like we at least
No,
understand why they.
oh, no. It doesn't
Yeah,
make it right, but it makes sense a little bit more to me now. I mean, I figured Mrs. Reed was just because she's been there forever. She's like, I'm gonna protect them, but I think it was more just the fact that she did feel motherly towards Alistair, since she kind of was that figure for him. So I like that.
yeah. I mean, she's seen it all, right? She's seen him from being a
Yeah,
kid and then seeing the heartbreak of every time this time comes around, this person is miserable.
yeah.
It's like she's like, is he going to be miserable again once this ends? I don't know.
Well, Rose is not American, so that should have been a giant green flag for Mrs. Reed.
And speaking of like connections between like characters, I didn't realize till like maybe like at the end that the way the character of Isla is written is very much, she's a kid, but I felt like it was a kid version of the grandma. Like they're very similar in how
Oh,
they kind of.
the aunt.
Oh, is it aunt? Oh yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah,
grandma. She's older. Hello, I made her grandma. The aunt.
I'm a surrogate. She sounds like she was a surrogate grandma, so that works.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But you're right. Um,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
they're so similar, and I kind of
Hmm.
liked that. She Isla kind of really does, like Mrs. Reed says, have everyone wrapped around her finger, and
Yep.
everybody's doing her bidding.
Yes.
But then that's once the aunt figure comes in, she's very much doing the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and you can kind of see, Isla is a Spitfire, and she was throughout the entire book, which I also love because, I was very much that same way.
You don't say.
I was not a quiet child, I'm just gonna say. But I did,
Revelation.
yeah. Hey now. Only I'm allowed to say that. No, I did. I really, it was the same for me. Like, I didn't realize towards the end of the book, once you met, is it Helen? Helene?
Forget. I think so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Definitely towards the end of the book, like that's when you start realizing, oh, that's where she gets it from.
Yeah.
Um, but I love Isla. She was definitely one of my favorite characters from the book. But the aunt, I think, brought just so much to the end of the story.
Mhm,
Just kind of that puzzle piece. Like,
mhm.
she finished the puzzle. She completed the puzzle for me, I have to say, for the family, because she's like, okay, now I understand a lot of these, aspects. But definitely, Isla is just a mini me of her.
I also liked that the the solution to this particular story professionally is that Rose is going to work for the aunt.
Yeah.
And I liked that because then she's not working for Alice Dare, basically.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, that was like a very convenient but believable like switch that I liked
Yeah.
because I'm wondering how that was going to go. Because you
Well,
really
and
have
she's
to work.
also doing what she wanted to
Yeah,
do, before her mom got sick and before she had to, go through all of that sort of experience. Um, which, is, once again, it's something that's not utilized that much in a lot of these stories, because
Mhm.
it's like, oh, I'll give up my big city career to be just a housewife. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of a lot of, the solutions, or that's a common solution for a holiday story. But like, I love this, that she's not only working with the aunt and not Alistair, like you said, but
Mhm.
she also is focusing on art, and then also is being encouraged to follow and complete that journey that she started so many years ago.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love, love, love.
And I also love how the family in some way was all in on it. Like they see what's going
Yes.
on between Rose and Alistair. And once they kind of,
Yes.
I think they kind of get a feel for it. I'm assuming because they must have been in like cahoots or something, basically.
Well, oh, the other person we have not talked about yet is Fiona.
Yes. Go off.
I, yes.
I give you the
I
floor.
love her. I
Yeah.
loved her, which
Very sweet.
actually she very much fits like the aunt and Isla's sort of personality, a little
Mhm.
more subdued, but I
Yeah.
loved I love her character so much, because she did come in, and actually I feel like she helped to kind of soften up Alistair a little bit
Mhm.
as well. He was kind of navigating, he was dealing with having to do, the estate Christmas party that he had, but then also a business party that he
Mhm.
had. So you kind of saw him in nothing but that sort of light for a while, doing something that he just clearly did not love. But having Fiona and her personality come in and kind of make him youthful in a way, I feel like,
Yeah.
but also just helping to draw out that kind of playfulness that kind of was hidden deep
Mhm.
in Alistair's sort of personality. I love that. I love how she kind of helped change that story for him a little bit. Um,
Yeah, she like
but yeah,
humanized them more, and also I feel like
yes,
she is an observance. Like she sees what's going on. She's watching Rose,
yes,
and like just her. I was like, oh, just her being blatant enough to say about Alistair dancing with that other woman. I think it was Sarah.
Sarah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
but
let's go off on her. Just saying like, oh, I think he's just being nice because she
yeah,
clearly sees, and like at that moment, um, Rose couldn't really like couldn't quite hold her emotion back,
yeah.
but she's clearly bothered by seeing Alistair dance with Sarah and then grappling with herself like, why does that matter? Why am I why am I being like this?
Totally, totally. Well, and I love too that, Fiona was the one who encouraged their relationship to kind of or encourage them to kind of figure out what their relationship is. In the same way, kind of the aunt did as well. The two of them didn't like warn her off,
Mhm. Yeah.
try to protect him. They were like, actually, we see that you're a good influence on my nephew slash brother,
Mhm.
and we want to encourage what's going on, because he's the best that he's been in a long time. So
Yeah.
I kind of liked having those two characters be there, the antithesis to the, oh, don't get too close, like, aspect of it.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
certainly
Sarah's the devil. But yes.
we'll continue the devil talk. The magic of fiction, that was a comment about the aunt kind of like putting everything together. Sorry, I fell behind
Yeah.
Margaret. And but yes, Sarah was a real villain.
Yes. Yes, she was. And
And I
her
kind of felt like,
bright
why didn't she get
colored
a hint?
jumper.
Yeah.
She was the worst. She was the absolute worst. And like, I can't say that, because I mean, she was just trying to pursue something that she
Yeah,
was attached
where
to.
the claws come out.
But I don't know. I just there's something about not reading the room
Mhm.
and just going over that. But I can appreciate why her character was in there. But yeah, she is the real villain. You're correct, Margaret.
Yeah, just not reading in the room. And then also, I don't believe the story that she told Alice Dare. I don't think her oven was broken.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 She just wanted an invite. She wanted to infiltrate.
Yeah, and she just invited herself and didn't even call. It's 2024,
Stopping
girl.
by.
Dial the
Nobody just
button.
stops by anymore. Only monsters do that.
Yeah. Oh, my cheeks hurt. Or just like, because it's a holiday time and family's around. So I kind of feel like that's worse. So it's like, let this man live.
Yeah. No, I don't understand people doing that because it's like I can understand wanting to visit people, but you text or you call. If
Yeah.
I mean, if you're truly a monster, you call, uh
How dare you?
but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think before cell phones were created, um, which I was birthed before, and I was a young child before cell phones. But I feel like before then it makes sense because it's not like you could necessarily contact someone. I mean, you could always, call from house
The
phone to
land,
house
the
phone,
landline.
landlines, but like if you were out and about and you're like, you know what, let's go stop by so
Yeah,
and so's house, like that's
yeah.
one thing, and I completely understand that. But in this day and age, having that sort of mentality, I don't understand. Does that make me a curmudgeon? Am I a curmudgeon?
No, but I love how steeped in present time we are because we're over here. Back in my day with landlines,
Yeah,
there was a cord,
I'm
and
officially
you had your
old.
finger and go.
And internet had a dial tone, and you couldn't use the landline.
Margaret, we have earned the right to curmudgeon after the year of our Lord 2024.
2025 is the year of the curmudgeon.
Oh my god. Yes. Yes, it is. Oh goodness.
Oh lordy.
Um,
But
at
yeah,
some
sorry, we so sidetracked.
I know, I was like, what else was I gonna say?
But yeah, so go ahead.
Sorry, he was so not interested in her. He had
Yeah,
his kid go to bed early just to get her out of the home.
just to get her out. No, absolutely. Oh God. And honestly, he shouldn't have even like let her in, being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're in the middle of something." But then again, he was just being the, kind of polite person that he was, which is another example of how he wasn't, kind of a beastly type person. Like he's
Yeah,
very welcoming, and he kind of. I feel like with her, he put the layered face on and
yeah,
personality on.
that's true.
And
That's
then
true.
once she left, he kind of was like, okay, now I can relax and be around the people that I know and love and will come to love.
Margaret says British
British
problems.
problems. That's so true. Also, I loved a lot of the slang that was used in the book as well. It kind of reminded me of my time living over there. So I kind of was like, I miss it. Also, a Costa coffee. It's like the Starbucks of London. And also a Pret. I I have a problem. I love Pret. I lived there, especially like when I was getting out of school. And agreed, Margaret. Agreed. Costa is so much better. I would stop at Pret on my way home from school, because being in the kitchen for 5 hours pretty much was a lot, and I did not want to then go home and cook, so I would go to Pret. And the fact that they're starting to come to the U.S. Just makes me a little bit. It makes me super homesick.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Because it
it's really
stimulates
good if you haven't
there,
tried it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's your home, and you're just visiting here, right?
I'm being banished. That's truly what it is at the end of the day. Clearly, I did something in a former life that I was banished from the place I want to live.
Something that I really like about, not just in this book, but other work that I've read by Emma Bennet,
Mhm.
is she writes like bickering banter well.
Yes.
And I like that even Alistair and Rose go off to like run a grocery errands, and she writes they were they were bickering cheerfully together.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the romance I want to read.
Yeah.
Bickering cheerfully. That's my jam.
Bickering cheerfully. No, absolutely. Yeah, I the conversations I really did appreciate throughout the book, because they were fun and they were very I don't want to say the word jaunty, but it definitely wasn't just kind of it wasn't like annoyed bickering, like it was fun bickering. It was flirty a little bit, which I really did enjoy. But yeah, a lot of books do not utilize that kind of form of romance. So I really did appreciate that in this book as well.
Hold on, this is an insight. Margaret, is that what Emma and Richard do in chat? Richard is a little devil. Emma, she doesn't really go live too much on her channel, but she'll go live on Andy, Self Hub Andy's channel, and they'll kind of like buddy up, and either they're going at it, Emma and Andy, or Emma and Richard. And you know what? She's more clever with these bed. She just goes to verbal fights with them.
Which
I'll say
is
that.
why she writes it so
Yeah,
well.
that's right. She goes toe to toe. She's like, all right,
Yeah.
you want to do this?
Yeah. I love it.
And also with that British polite way to, she slays in a polite way.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah, she battles
absolutely.
them both with one sword arm behind her back. It's true.
See, it's British humor, which I fully appreciate and love. Which I think is what I really like drew from this was, and it drew me in was that kind of British humor, which is fascinating to me, and I just want to surround myself with. So I really did appreciate that aspect.
Yeah. Um, what was your favorite Houdini scene?
The one with Houdini in it. Uh, I mean, Houdini tea time. That was, I was like, oh, we can make Houdini's tea. It's like, oh my God, I love it. But honestly, it was like the little, anytime they talked about him getting into the pantry, I was
Yeah.
like, how does he do that? How does he get into that? But also just, what was the one? Oh, the simple one of just them taking him on the walk.
Yeah. Yeah, with
Being
the dog.
like, oh, we'll bring all the dogs and then we'll take Houdini too. And it's like, you're gonna take a goat on a walk? Okay, okay. But no, I honestly like every time he kind of popped up, I loved it because it was just
Yeah.
so like, oh my God, where does this goat come from?
And that Houdini expects it when we're talking about the walks. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a dog. He's a dog in a goat body, honestly. And I
Yeah.
love that Isla was like, but we can't banish him outside. It's cold, it's wet. They're like, we literally built him an enclosure with a heater.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God. I think there's so many moments I like, but I almost feel like I like that initial introduction the most because, and it's because of Mrs. Reed, because he pops in and she understands because she can communicate with his goat. And it's like, oh, it's because he wants us to, he knows that it's time for Isla to go to school.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's set to the time. And I just love that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, and it was funny because I feel like at the end, Rose learned to speak Houdini too.
Yeah.
You know, it was something that she learned, and she, like, at the end, she was like, okay, I understand what he wants and everything. But I mean, he was a pet. At the end of the day, he was just like a dog. He was a pet,
Yeah.
which I love.
I
Oh,
think that was,
Houdini.
yeah, I think that's part of her completing her not Disney, not princess arc was understanding an animal.
I mean, every Disney princess has to speak to animals. So
Yeah.
she, by the end of this book, she was officially a Disney princess.
Yes, because when we meet Rose, or when Alistair meets Rose, she's dressed like Elsa.
Uh-huh.
And at the end, he gives her that blue dress. And I like that. I was like,
It's so cute.
she's better than Elsa, and she's Rose.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah. And I love the relationships, the familial relationships,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
And I love that it was such a huge part of the book as well. Um, because there are families like that that are very much involved with each other, and it's scary bringing someone new into that situation. um but I love that she just kind of fit in, and that's the other aspect is of this book that I really did enjoy, was the fact that there weren't like huge problems with that. Like, it just was very natural. um which is another thing that, I like that Emma didn't utilize, like, her integrating into the family and being like, oh, let's throw in a problem here and throw in a problem there and make it like super complicated. Um,
yeah,
I mean, that does happen a lot for sure in real life, but in books, I just feel like it's just overused,
yeah,
sort of trope. So I really did appreciate that for this.
yeah, yeah. I thought it was lovely. Um, Elaine, this is Elaine. Hi, Cobalt Dragon Elaine.
Hi.
We're just wrapping up. We're just at the end. Elaine, I think you just read a book for your channel. I can't think of which one it was, but she read a classic. One of those that you're allowed to holiday read. That was very cozy and sweet and perfect for the holiday. Um, do you have any other questions or anything else that you wanted to oh, actually, I'm sorry, before we get there. What did you think about the epilogue?
I loved it. I did love it, because you see that, okay, she did pursue her art, she did focus on it. They still march forward with their relationship, and ended up married, which was great. And Isla being there, but just seeing her kind of in the art world, which is what she always wanted. I love that. It was just kind of like a nice little bow on top of the whole story.
Yeah, I did like it, but I almost felt like the story didn't even need it.
Oh no,
I don't know. It
no,
just
it
wrapped up
didn't.
nicely. Not that, and it's like I can't. This is why I was like, I don't really have a critique. I just felt like I so enjoyed where I ended, Yeah, it just didn't. I feel like I'm just repeating myself. It didn't really need it. I did like it. I did like that. I don't know. I just like the whole thing, and I like that. This is something that was nurtured by the aunt. I just think that was cool.
Yes.
This is really
Yeah.
cool.
No, absolutely. And I agree. There is one last thing I want to
Mhm.
bring up.
Yes, please.
Who wears a size 4 shoe?
Yeah.
Toddlers?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I'm speaking from giant feet
I
of
also
10 and a half. So like a size 4 shoe would be like my big toe. Like that's what I feel like. That would fit a size 4 shoe, my big toe.
Oh, you're so funny. Don't hate on the small feet because I also have big feet. But you know what? At least you have the height to justify.
Yeah.
Like you are proportioned. I am not. I am a short woman with big hobbit feet, which is the only time I've seen myself represented in a movie. Okay, those big feet. Have yet to trip. I'm a sturdy
Well,
gal.
okay, so you have hobbit feet. Do you like potatoes?
I love potatoes. In
Okay.
fact, my daughter and I were having a whole conversation about how much we love potatoes just the other night and all the wonders of potato.
And all the things where you can eat it.
You throw them, you can mash them.
Yay, I finally have a hobbit.
Truly, truly. Let me see. Margaret said she had to do some secret gift run. This was lovely. Happy holidays. Happy holidays, Margaret.
Happy holidays, Margaret.
She says, we love an epilogue, as Lizzie knows. I'm sure. I'm sure Emma has small feet. Okay, so she wanted to represent herself. I
Yeah,
get it. I get it. Forgive her. We'll forgive her. We'll forgive her.
I guess.
Have a great one. Back to reading the five. Oh my god, I can't wait. Have you read the five? I've read the five.
I
Have you?
haven't.
It's nonfiction. I have a copy. I'll lend it to you if you want to read it.
Okay.
It's about what's the name? Oh my gosh, the famous serial killer. It's not focused on him. Um, Jack the Ripper, but not focused on him. It's the victims and how
Oh,
what we know, like saying that they were all prostitutes isn't exactly true.
right, right.
And it just has to do with like how people are dismissed in the narrative of the time. Anyways, so I convinced Elaine to read it, and she's loving it. So I'm just glad.
Okay. Definitely, I'll have to read it.
Mine are 9.5 out of 10. Oh, okay, yeah. I feel you, Sam. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yep.
And can you wield a frying pan? You know what? If if the opportunity arises, I will.
I can.
I know you can. You got a skill. You wielded many a frying pan.
Yeah. And only one person's been harmed. So,
Oh my god.
oh goodness.
All right. I think that's it for all the questions. Thank you everyone for being here in the chat. This was absolutely lovely. I hope that you have a very merry holiday. Would you like to provide any parting words?
Size 4 feet do not exist. No.
Okay. With that
No,
said,
no, I just want to say thank you for having me on. It's been a lot of fun, and I wish everyone out there a nice, season, and hopefully you're doing what you love and being with the people that you love.
sweet. And drink mulled wine. Goodbye,
And drink more wine.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy yourself. Stay out of trouble. Happy holidays.